keep it real with ya.
So since I did not get to share, and I know that next time I go to group that I will get to share, but since I did not get to share that last time, I want to share with you guys what I drew as far as drawing my family as animals. And hopefully if I can process this out with you guys, I will be able to better explain what the hell's going on when I'm in my next group session and I'm showing this to really those people are more of strangers than you guys are, because you guys like comment and I've had regular cadence with you. Some of y'all are day ones, some of y'all are my actual friends in real life. So it's like I know you guys better than these people in the group that I just met last week. So I want to share with you my family, or a small portion of my family. I didn't finish. I started dissociating. So what I was able to draw before I started to dissociate, and I'm going to explain this out to you. So my audio quality might get low for a second because I'm going to have to put the microphone down to show you what I drew. Okay. So this... Here we go. Here we go. So this is my family, guys. This is my these are the closest people to me and my family. Now, one of the things that I immediately noticed in this drawing is that we are all very, very tight together. See, this is us. That's us right there at the bottom. Those are like the people. And those lines drawing up to other things at the top, those are personas. So those are like what people want to be, what they are in their head versus who they actually are. So if we look down here, you see this down here? Black kitty is me. That's very obvious. The cat's ugly because I forgot how to draw a cat. I am going to get so many paper cuts right now. Hold on. So that's me there. And then these brown things are supposed to be dogs, and they're my brothers. So this is my youngest brother. He's 4 years older than me. He is a problem. He actually messaged me on Facebook Messenger. I blocked him on Facebook, but apparently you have to block them on Facebook Messenger too, which is bullshit. But yeah, never had a good relationship with him. But he's like one of them little small dogs that never shut up, that be thinking they big dogs. He one of them. So his little persona is this big aggressive dog with like the sharp teeth. I say like what, a German Shepherd or some shit. He's like that, but in reality he's like this small. And but in his head he's bigger. This is another brother. So looking at this, so his thing is over here on the ground, actually lower than him. It's a worm. So I've always felt that my oldest brother, even though he's the oldest brother, he's kind of like the weakest. Oh, sorry. I always felt that my older brother, even though he's the oldest, he's kind of like the weakest of us. You know, like he's intelligent, but he doesn't really have any ambition or doesn't really want to be anything. He doesn't aspire to be anything. So he's just kind of like, you know, the weakest of us. And we are a lot of strong fucking personalities. So that's who he is. This person is another dog, but he is, I don't know what the fuck this is. What the hell is that thing? What is this? What is this? I don't know, but it's my second oldest brother, so he's the one in the middle. He's still a dog, but in his mind, I think he thinks that he is some kind of like big, strong, intelligent dog. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he is, but he thinks very highly of himself. He has a big ego, and it gets annoying sometimes. He believes in a lot of conspiracy theories. He tries to act like he's cool with the queer community, but he ain't. So that's him. Little dog want to be big, intelligent dog. The reason I chose dogs for them is because the men in my family are very big on dogs. So my dad loves dogs. We always had dogs. They were big on getting dogs and making them aggressive. So, you know, they wanted the German Shepherds, they wanted the Pit Bulls, Rottweilers, all of that. So my dad and my brother is very big on dogs. So I made them dogs. I would argue the reason that my youngest brother is a dog is because he's like a dog in his mind is because he is exactly what my dad wanted him to be. So that. So then we have, before I get to my parents, we have my sister here. So my sister's a rabbit. Why is she a rabbit? I don't fucking know. But here is her persona, which is an exact copy of my mom. Maybe I should have started with my mom. But no. So my sister is my only sister. She's the oldest. So I have her as a rabbit. I don't know why she's a rabbit, but her persona is my mom. That's my mom up there. That's my mom up there. And my sister's persona is that she's just my mom, but smaller. That's it. That's all she was expected to be. She's a parentified child. She's my mom's first child. And her whole job was to be my mom. Or be mom 2.0. That's it. Nothing more. And of course, you can imagine all the problems that came with that. You know, you think of a worm as very, like I said, with my brother being a worm, very weak. You know, can't really do much for itself. That's what she was turned into. It isn't her fault, really. I blame my parents for all of this, but you know, that's where we at now. Before I get to my parents, these three are elephants, and that is my aunt and her two daughters, who are my two cousins. My aunt is like my mom's best friend. I have many aunts, but this aunt is the most close to my mom. Very, very enmeshed, unhealthy, and how enmeshed they are and their kids are with us. So my aunt is an elephant, but her persona is, I'm just gonna call that Bambi up there. So my aunt's an elephant, but her persona is Bambi because she is, I would say, she wants everyone to think that she's like super sweet and innocent, but in reality, she's not. In reality, she is very like overbearing, stomps on the people around her, remembers everything, holds everything against you. She's also like holier than thou, the only one who's like still a devout Christian in the family, and she uses that against you. We have my cousin, my aunt's oldest daughter. I put her as a flower. I don't know if there's an animal that would represent what she thinks she is, but she just thinks that she's different from everyone and that she's better than everyone, to the point that she's a completely separate species. That's also the one who was commenting on my TikTok talking shit, and I had to block her, and it was very upsetting, because she is the one who will say, hey, tell me all your traumas so I can invalidate all of them and make you feel bad, and then has the nerve after being blocked on social media to come on my TikTok and talk shit. Fuck her. This is her younger sister, and I drew her as an ape. I put the little banana right there. Let me zoom in. I put the little banana right there so that you can understand it's an ape, because I know it doesn't look like anything. And she thinks that she is smarter than everyone. She did go to college, and she got like a degree in social work and everything. So don't get me wrong, she got some skills, she knows some things, but the way she thinks of herself is just like, I'm not like you guys. I'm way, way smarter, more evolved. Like, you notice everybody else is like regular ass animals, except for the worms. And then she's just like, I am the apex animal. I am the primate. I'm the intelligent one. I have the brain of a human, different and better than all of you. Up here, you can't see too well, is a yellow lion in the sun. That's my grandma. She is dead. I did love her. She wasn't that good of a mom. I ain't even gonna hold you. She was not a good mother. Hold on, let me see if I can get a better view of her. You can barely see her because of the yellow. Yeah, you can barely see her because I drew her in yellow. Like, she's like the sun lion, but she was the matriarch of the family. Very, very powerful. Nobody fucked with her. She lived in a neighborhood that quickly became very, very dangerous, but she was always a badass. When her husband was like cheating on her and beating on her, she took a shotgun and kicked him out of the house and was ready to, like, you know, be single for the next 30 years. She did not give a fuck. She was not putting up with nobody's business. She had a whole family. She had a bunch of kids and grandkids, and she just focused on, you know, her family and loving them. She didn't feel like she needed a man to complete her. She had her family and her friends, and so she lived very, she lived a very full life, and I was very appreciative of the strength that she showed. She was very accepting of me being an atheist. I talked about this in another video. Yeah, she was just a great woman. I really like her. I was with her the night before she died, about, I don't remember how many hours it was, but it was the entire night, and just like talking to her and comforting her. She told them to take her off everything, so she was ready to go, and I stayed with her that night before she died, just being with her. And so because of that, I do not have the same feelings. My arm hurts. Because of me being with her the night before she died, I don't have the same feelings about her death that everybody else did, because a lot of people in my family would like ignore her calls. They would ignore her. They would try to avoid spending time with her. I wasn't like that. You know, I would answer her calls, and, you know, we would talk, and we respected each other. So, you know, I can talk about her comfortably without feeling, you know, super upset or like we left things on a bad note or anything like that, because we didn't. We left on a very good note. The only time I get sad thinking about her is when I think about how strong she is and how I want to be strong like she is, even though I know that she had a lot of trauma and pain that she didn't really deal with. But the fact that she just didn't put up with anybody's shit, that's the kind of person I'm trying to be. So I do get upset sometimes like that if I feel like I'm not really living up to, it's not that she expected anything of me, but more of like I wanted to be more like her and her attitude and stuff. And if I feel like I'm not living up to that standard, I might get upset. But as far as talking about her in general, I love my grandma. I talk about her like she's still alive sometimes. You know, we had a good relationship, and she went on her own terms, which is a really powerful statement to make. That is not something that I think anybody else in my family could do. I don't think anybody in my family is as strong as she is. Or she was. A lot of weakness, a lot of codependencies in the family, a lot of drug and alcohol abuse. My grandmother, she was addicted to cigarettes, but she was not addicted to men or you know, drinking or anything like that. So she spoke her mind, and I like that. You know, I be trying to be a little like her. So yeah, grandma's really good. I love her. Okay, love my grandmama. All right, so now let's get on to the parents. I don't even want to talk about him. So my dad is a what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck he is. That's what I drew of him. This thing. Hold on. Whatever the fuck that is. I just knew I wanted to draw him with red crayon, and I knew I wanted to make him look like rough and aggressive. So I drew that. I don't know what the fuck that is. But this is his persona, his alter ego here. It looks kind of like a dragon, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But something with horns and like a bleeding mouth and red eyes. One of the things I always noticed about my dad was that he's always had red eyes. And I would even have nightmares as a kid of him having like red eyes. But that's because my dad's been drunk the entire time I've been alive. So, yeah, so I don't remember him with not having bloodshot eyes, because he's been drunk for over 30 years and I'm only 25. So he's just he's just a bully, you know. He's you know, bigger than everybody else, and he throws his weight around a lot, and he wants everyone to be afraid of him, and he wants to be big and tough. So that's his persona. Just something that I don't know, I'm just thinking of as we're going, since this is a processing video. I've come to terms with the idea of my dad's death because of the fact that he's been drunk the entire time that I've been alive, because there's been so many scares of him going to the hospital over like his kidneys, his liver, just his whole body, because of the amount of alcohol he consumes. And I just felt like at a certain point, I just like kind of accepted that he was going to die from that. Because he didn't want to not drink. He even went to rehab and he just kept drinking. He didn't give a fuck. So I just kind of like accepted that as a fact of life. And I just, you know, he and I have not spoken in years. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, if they call me and they're like, Dad's dead, and I'm like, yeah, just, he was already dead in my mind. Shit, I don't know. But I'm keeping it real with you. Sorry for those of you who've lost parents and you feel really bad about it, and you might feel triggered by me not feeling bad about it. But, you know, this is just how I am. All right. And if you notice, there's a little red string going over to this worm-like thing. And this is my mom. She's like some kind of weird mix of a worm and a snake. I don't know, man. I drew her first, actually. I don't even know. But yeah, but he's got her on the collar. He, being as awful as he is, has definitely had a profound impact on her, even though they've been divorced and separated since I was born. He's had a very, very profound impact on her. They're friends now for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, she's like a snake worm thing. But up here is her persona, which is another Bambi, just like my aunt, because they like to mirror each other and everything. And this kind of the thing is like, she's a snake that looks like a worm. You may mistake her for a worm. And that's kind of, I think she wants you to think that. But in reality, she's just a snake with pink skin. And she wants everyone to think that she's Bambi, that she's, super awesome and sweet and takes care of everybody, get a shirt off her back. She wants people to think she's like my grandma. But that ain't true. This grandma's a lion in the sun with the sky, and you is a fucking worm snake thing. But she just wants people to think of her as that loyal mother who cares for her kids over everything and stuff. And that's just not true. That's a lie that she created. And if you disagree with her for anything, she wants the whole family to think that you're a monster. But I mean, I can only be as bad as who gave birth to me. So, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. But yeah, she wants everybody to think she's Bambi, that she's super sweet. And if you ever disagree with her, if you ever criticize her for anything, she wants everybody to think that you're an awful person. Because, I mean, if you're someone who steps on a worm, you must be pretty bad, right? If you're the person who killed Bambi's mom in the story, you must be a pretty awful person, right? Because what could Bambi or a worm ever do to you? But she's not a worm, she's a snake. And when you kill a snake, most people can understand why you killed the snake. But that's not what she wants you to think of her. This thing over here, I don't know who the fuck this green dragon is. Maybe it's the generational trauma. I don't know. But it's probably that, because it's just like, I don't know, that I just remember like my earliest memory is a nightmare of this green dragon thingy in the sewers. So I think it might have something to do with childhood trauma. Like my physical therapist says, I had trauma as early as 2. So maybe something like before memory happened that I just don't know about that caused me to manifest that in my dreams. But I remember that pretty specifically. But that is, I would say, God, I don't know. Like, if you were to sit me down and ask me who all pissed me off in my family, I would never stop talking. But the fact that my child me was drawing this and was like saying this person, this person, this person, like that's kind of, I guess, who the core people that child me would even think about when it comes to like who's causing you issues and stuff. Another thing you notice is that in this drawing, we are all very tightly packed together. I have all of this white space, right? All of this white space, we're all tightly packed together. In the city, I would say I probably have about maybe 100, maybe more family members in the city. I have a lot of family who I don't know, which worries me, because I'm like, you never know, you run to somebody and they'll be like, oh, I knew your grandma or something like that. But I have a lot of family. I have a really, really big family. And even though half of us are on the other side of the city, I don't even know if it's half, it feels like we're all cramped together, especially considering there were several people, like the people on the page, like my aunt and my mom chose to live as close to my grandma as possible. Probably 15 minutes away was my dad and my other aunts and my other uncles, and then all of their kids and grandkids. So we were all very close together my whole life, which is annoying. And family events were always very heavily packed together, which was also annoying, because I have a lot of social anxiety and I do not like being in small spaces with a bunch of fucking people. I don't like being in open air with a bunch of people. But yeah, that is core family, child family, obviously. And I don't know which child drew that. Could be the 2-year-old, could be the 8-year-old, could be the 13-year-old, who the fuck knows. But that's them. And I just think, some themes that I could kind of take away from it is definitely everyone has a persona. So they have who they really are, and then they have who they want people to see them as. That's a big thing. Noticing that I'm just me. There's no other, I don't have a string on me as the little black cat in the middle. I don't have a string because I never tried to be someone else. I never tried to have a persona that was like, I don't know, some people, like, when they dissociate, they create a persona that's like tougher than them, that can handle everything. I never had that. I never tried to create that. I really only wanted to be me. So either I'm going to be me or I'm not going to say shit. That's the two options. There's not going to be a version of Minu who is super nice and cares about things that she don't really care about. I can't fake it. I was never good at faking stuff, which got me in a lot of trouble with the family, which led me to being like the scapegoat and everything. Because I could not do what they did, where they split themselves into like another version, basically. I could not be friendly with my brother's girlfriends and then go talk about them behind their backs. Like, I would tell my brother's girlfriends, like, yeah, he is being disrespectful to you. And he disrespects women a lot. That's a problem he has. If that's what you want to be with, that's fine. But I'm letting you know, I could never pretend that my brother or my friend or anybody was a better person than they were just to maintain the status quo. I wasn't physically capable of it. I could not split myself into a person who fit in with everybody around me while the other person was just inside dying, and then just, drink to keep that person from coming out and speaking. I wasn't capable of doing that. So I was always going to be the kid that talked too much. I was always going to be the kid that said stuff that she wasn't supposed to say. I was always going to be the kid who, was just being herself authentically. And that gave me a lot of negative attention because I wasn't doing what they were doing. And I refused to do it, but I also felt like I physically couldn't do it. I physically could not make myself into someone else. I don't have that ability. And drinking didn't make it better. Smoking weed does not make that better. It just makes you think it's better because that's the family's coping mechanisms, and how they like dissociate from their true selves. But I never knew how to be anybody but my true self, the good, the bad, the ugly. I just was me. I feel a lot better actually sharing all of that. All right. I feel a lot better about all of that. Glad that I got to talk about it with you guys. Glad that some of you are sticking here with me to like listen to it and have me like talk about it. I think now that I've like gotten it out, because that's a big thing for me, is like actually getting it out. I feel better about the inner child group stuff. I just have to be more comfortable coming out of my shell and like actually vocalizing what I feel, as opposed to feeling like I have to, like kind of, be quiet and take care of everybody else's feelings and comfort everyone else's inner child. My inner child needs comfort too. And so I have to just like speak up more in the situation, as well as in other situations like I do here. But I want to thank you guys for sticking through it with me. I hope to make more videos talking about how this inner child group is going. I hope you guys can learn something from it. So, maybe you can do these exercises yourself that can help you. And I'd be excited to learn about what you have to say about what you learned when you're doing it. That's what all of these videos are about. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I hope you take care of yourself and you take your naps and you eat and you just be kind to yourself, because you deserve as much kindness as you give me in the comments, as you give your friends. You deserve it as well. I love you guys. Bye.